Hi everybody, it's day 19 already. We're almost at the end. It's time for another greeting card. Today it's all red and white. Very classy, very straight lines. Not too busy, not too romantic. So I'm cutting down the cardstock to the size that I need for my envelopes to have the card fit in. And I will reuse those tiny red parts of the cardstock that are on the upper screen right now. So once that I have my card base cut to the right size, I am going ahead and I am cutting the white cardstock. I don't have any not folded to cards cardstock in white in my stock, so I'm just cutting that white card there because, well, I want to stamp something on white cardstock and I don't have any. So I go ahead and use, like I said, that cardstock, and I use the red one to measure how big it should be because I want to have a red border around the white one. And with the X-Acto knife and roller, that's fairly simple. So voila, there we are. There's the white part. I'm just lining it up to the grid on my craft mat, and the craft mat is awesome, I have to say. So I'm just cutting that one tiny bit of my white cardstock because I don't need it. So now that I have my card base and the paper I want to put on top, I'm getting all my stamping stuff ready, and I'm using the Colorbox Fireberry Red because that's the closest to the cardstock color. And with new stamps, I always use them on scrap paper first. So I'm using this Merry Christmas in 100 Billion Languages stamp as a test on the scrap paper first. And I'm planning to use different kinds of stamps with the same Fireberry color on this cardstock, have it look very clean. So on the lower part, I'm stamping this Merry Christmas stamp in all of its languages, and it didn't stamp like 50% of the stamp very well, so I'm trying again. I'm pressing down really hard this time, and it's way better. Voila, you can read Merry Christmas. So I clean up my stamp with just a paper towel. Those rubber stamps clean up nicely. And I'm going to use the Christmas ornaments of the silicone stamp set. I'm going to use them on the upper part of this cardstock, lining everything up, having it like straight, and I'm going to stamp several of those Christmas balls, if that is the right word, all using the Fireberry stamp ink. And I really like that ink. It's gorgeous. It's so vibrant. I really like it. And I'm using pretty much all of the Christmas balls. That sounds so weird. But some of them I use more than once on the paper to have an uneven number of stamps on top of that paper. And since I use them on different height, I'm using my scrap papers as well not to have any ink on my craft mat, because I'm not stamping all of the, well, stamp on my cardstock. So this is the last one. Ta-da! And we are done. So now I'm using those red parts of cardstock that I cut from the card base. And I'm just checking which one I'm going to use. And then I'm using tape adhesive. And I'm just gluing those down. It's fairly simple, I have to say. One at the bottom, one in the middle to have like almost like a window look around the sentiments, because they are quite big and, well, they say Merry Christmas in pretty much every major language. One on top of them. Again, normal tape adhesive, nothing fancy. Those pieces of cardstock are small enough to have them held down with that normal card adhesive tape runner. You don't need to have the extra strong glue for that kind of size of cardstock. Although I like to use a stronger glue with cardstock and that red tape adhesive only with paper, it works out well enough for that size of cardstock. It holds down fairly well. So now that this is done, I am taking out my red pearls and golden stars, because in two of those Christmas ornaments I do have stars and I want to fill them out with golden stickers, just to have well, another color for one, and also another dimension, because it's a sticker, and not just colored in, so to say. And the big ornament was just looking weird and empty, so I was thinking about maybe it would be sweet and funny and geeky, kind of to have that owl that came with the stamp set sitting in that ornament, and it's just the perfect size. So I'm introducing a new color, which is a dark green, and unfortunately I did ruin it because I tipped down the acrylic block. It just slipped out of my hand, so I pretty much double inked it and the owl looked weird. So what I did do to repair all of that is I stamped the ornament again, and then I cut it out and I stamped the owl again, just like I did before. But I'm going to cover up that ruined owl on my card. And I could have saved all of that if I would have not let the acrylic block with the silicone stamp slip through my hand. But, well, maybe sometimes this just happens, and don't worry, don't be upset. You can always make do and repair it. So you see, I just re-stamped the same ornament and I'm just cutting it out with my scissors, and I'm just going to stamp the owl again. I'm just looking for it right now. Again with the dark green. Just stamping the owl, making sure that I don't ruin it again. Voila, worked. And then I'm just gonna let it dry for a minute or two. And meanwhile, I decided that the upper part of the white cardstock also needed a red frame. It just did look, well, unclean, so to say. So with the borders all around, I actually liked it more. It looked more complete. So I just did put down another of those red strips of cardstock. And it's really amazing how much that a tiny bit of cardstock can make a difference in the end and make the card look, well, more harmonic in a way. It's weird. However, or whatever, I'm just using some 3D foam squares at the back of the owl, and I'm just gluing it down in the same spot that it was before, but this time it is stamped correctly and clean and looks sweet. So also having another dimension on the card actually makes it look a bit more cool and a bit more modern, which I like. So next step is to glue down one of those tiny light red pearls onto another one of the Christmas ornaments. So I'm just covering up the stamped points there. And I'm just giving it dimension by using those tiny red pearls. And they're pretty difficult to put down because they're so tiny that you kind of struggle to have them stay in place. But it works. It's fine. With the help of the tweezers, I make it work. Just pushing them into the right spot. And then I'm using a red glitter pen to cover those 3 paper strips that I did put down upon the white cardstock. Just going over it like solid. And I'm also covering the outer rim of the owl ornament with the same red glitter. And once it's dry, you can't really see the red, but you just see the glitter with a tiny bit of kind of like a shadow, but not really. It's very much tone in tone, but you can see only a hint of not having a clear glitter pen, but a red glitter pen in that regard. And I like it a lot. So that is the cards for today. I hope you got inspired. Go create, take good care, give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and I hope I see you tomorrow. Goodbye.